How King Felipe balances family and duty. What does it really take to be a king and still be a husband, a father, and a member of a family? For King Felipe VI of Spain, the answer is not as simple as putting on the crown in the morning and taking it off at night. His life is built around two powerful responsibilities: duty to Spain and responsibility to his family. And sometimes those two worlds can collide. From official ceremonies and international diplomacy to raising two daughters under intense public attention, Felipe has had to navigate a unique challenge. How do you serve an entire nation without losing the people closest to you? Today we're taking a closer look at how King Felipe tries to balance the crown, his marriage, fatherhood, and the future of Spain's monarchy. And stay until the end, because one of the most important parts of Felipe's approach may be the role his family plays in preparing Spain's next generation. Life before the crown. Before becoming king in 2014, Felipe spent decades preparing for the role. As the son of King Juan Carlos I and Queen Sofia, he understood from a very young age that his future would be different from that of an ordinary person. Military training, constitutional responsibilities, public appearances, diplomacy, and representing Spain were all part of his preparation. But becoming king transformed those responsibilities. Suddenly, every decision carried greater weight. Every public appearance could become a headline. Every family moment could potentially attract attention. And that is where the challenge begins. Because being a monarch isn't simply a full-time job. For Felipe, it is a role connected to his identity. There is no easy moment when he can completely separate King Felipe from Felipe the husband or Felipe the father. Family beside the king. One of the most visible parts of Felipe's personal life is his marriage to Queen Letizia. Their relationship has been watched closely by the Spanish public for years. Together, they have represented the modern face of Spain's monarchy. At official events, they often appear as a united team. They attend state ceremonies, meet foreign leaders, visit communities, and represent Spain internationally. But behind those public appearances is another responsibility: raising their daughters. Princess Leonor and Infanta Sofia have grown up in a family where public duty is impossible to ignore. Felipe and Letizia have therefore had to introduce their daughters to royal responsibility, while also giving them room to grow as individuals. That balance is particularly important because Leonor is not simply Felipe's daughter. She is Spain's heir to the throne. Father first, future king second. Imagine being a father and knowing that your child is also preparing for one of the most demanding positions in the country. That is Felipe's reality. Princess Leonor has undergone education and military training, designed to prepare her for her future constitutional role. Her journey has required discipline, public appearances, and increasing responsibility. For Felipe, this creates a delicate balance. He has to be her father, but he also has to help prepare her for the future. That means teaching responsibility without taking away her independence. It means protecting her privacy while preparing her for public life. And perhaps most importantly, it means showing her that the crown is not simply a privilege. It is a responsibility. The family as a team. One of the most important features of Felipe's reign has been the public image of the royal family working together. Felipe and Letizia have frequently appeared alongside their daughters at important national occasions. These moments may look simple: a family standing together, a ceremony, a photograph, a public celebration, but symbolically they can mean much more. They show the Spanish public the transition between generations. They also give Leonor and Sofia experience in representing the royal household. For Felipe, family appearances can therefore serve two purposes. They allow the family to share important moments together, and they help prepare the next generation for public responsibility, the private side of royal life. But balancing family and duty isn't only about official ceremonies. It is also about protecting private time. Royal families live under extraordinary public scrutiny. A normal family disagreement can become a headline. A holiday photograph can become international news. A daughter's appearance can generate thousands of comments online. That makes ordinary family life much more difficult. Felipe and Letizia have generally maintained a careful boundary between public responsibilities and private family moments. This boundary is especially important for their daughters. The modern monarchy exists in an environment where social media never sleeps. Photographs can travel around the world within seconds. Rumors can spread before facts are confirmed. And young members of royal families can suddenly become the subject of intense public discussion. For a father, that creates an additional responsibility, protecting his children while preparing them for the reality of public life. The crown can create pressure. There is another side to this story. A monarch cannot always choose family time over national duty. There will be moments when official responsibilities come first. State visits, political meetings, national ceremonies, international crises, public addresses, important constitutional events. These responsibilities don't stop simply because it is a family occasion. And that is perhaps one of the hardest parts of Felipe's role. A king must be available to the country, but a family also needs time together. The challenge is not finding a perfect balance. The challenge is constantly adjusting that balance. Letizia's role. Queen Letizia is also an important part of this equation. She is not simply Felipe's wife. She has her own public responsibilities, causes, engagements, and role within the royal household. Together, Felipe and Letizia have presented an image of a monarchy that combines tradition with a more contemporary family structure. Their partnership has also allowed them to divide responsibilities. While Felipe focuses heavily on constitutional and state duties, Letizia has developed her own areas of public work. At the same time, both have participated in important moments involving their daughters. This creates a family structure where royal responsibility is shared rather than carried by one person alone. Leonor changes everything. Perhaps the biggest long-term factor in Felipe's family life is Princess Leonor. As heir to the throne, Leonor represents the future of the Spanish monarchy. Her preparation is therefore closely connected to Felipe's own experience. He understands what it means to grow up knowing that your future has already been shaped by history. He knows the pressure that comes with public expectations, and he knows that leadership requires more than simply having a title. That may be why Leonor's preparation has focused on education, discipline, military service, public responsibility, and constitutional knowledge. Felipe's job is not to make Leonor a copy of himself. It is to help her develop the qualities she will need to become her own monarch. And that could ultimately become one of his greatest contributions to Spain. What does success look like? So, how do we know whether Felipe is successfully balancing family and duty? There is no official formula. There is no perfect schedule. And there is certainly no way for the public to see every private moment of a royal family's life. But we can look at the broader picture. Felipe continues to fulfill his constitutional responsibilities. His family appears regularly at major national occasions. Leonor is increasingly taking on public responsibilities, and the royal household continues to present itself as a family preparing for the future. That doesn't mean the balance is always easy. It means the family appears to be adapting to the demands of modern monarchy. The bigger question. But here's the fascinating question. Can a modern monarchy survive without showing a human side? For generations, royal families were often presented as distant symbols of power. Today, the public expects something different. People want to understand the personalities behind the titles. They want to see families, not just institutions. They want to know whether future monarchs can understand ordinary people while living extraordinary lives. That makes Felipe's family role increasingly important. Because when people see the king as a father, they may understand him differently. When they see Leonor learning, training, making public appearances, and gradually accepting responsibility, they see the monarchy's future taking shape. And when Felipe stands beside his family, the crown becomes more than a symbol. It becomes a story about generations. King Felipe VI has one of the most unusual jobs in the world. He is expected to represent an entire nation while also being a husband and a father. He must protect his family's privacy while preparing them for public life. He must respect centuries of tradition while adapting the monarchy to a rapidly changing society. And perhaps most importantly, he must prepare Princess Leonor for a responsibility that will eventually become hers. The crown may belong to one person at a time, but the future of a monarchy is built by generations. And Felipe's greatest challenge may not simply be ruling Spain today. It may be preparing his family, and especially Leonor, for tomorrow. So what do you think? Does King Felipe successfully balance his responsibilities as king and father? Or does royal duty always have to come first? Let me know your opinion in the comments. And if you enjoyed this deep look into the Spanish royal family, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and stay with us for more stories about Spain's monarchy, Princess Leonor, Queen Letizia, and the future of the crown. Because behind every crown is a family, and behind every royal duty is a human story. Thanks for watching.